My name is Cristiane Mohallem. I am a visual artist, a Brazilian visual artist. I live in São Paulo. Now I'm in my studio. I'm a painter. I'm an embroider. I work with textile and I embroider in my pieces, like I make embroideries, and I'm a draft woman. But I'm here to propose to you 4 art textile projects or 4 textile art projects. The first one is going to be in this video, and the next 3 videos I'm going to propose project 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to talk about contemplation, the concept of contemplation, nature, colors, composition, stitching, free running and overlapping stitch is the stitch that I do, and patchwork. I hope you enjoy working your pieces, stitching. It's very good. I believe that to sew, to stitch, to work with your hands, it's always a work that comes from the heart through your hands and goes. I like to observe how the threads and colors form the ultimate drawing. But I only fully see it when the work is complete. When I'm working, I only see threads and colors, as if everything were lines and colors. The image, like the landscape, the tree, the stone, or whatever I'm making, surfaces afterward. Let's work. For this project, you are going to need a needle, some threads, and a piece of cloth. This is the sewing box that I have at home. You can use this type of threads if you don't have embroidery threads like these ones. And also you will need needles. So I have this embroidery needle here that has a blunt point and big eye, and also this one that I like to use more, that has more a sharp point. But for children, usually I recommend this type. So it's good when you're working with children to use felt or that cloth that we usually use for cross stitch, that is puros. For this project, you are going to stitch the free running stitch, the running stitch, and the overlapping stitch. The free running overlapping stitch. So the running stitch is the stitch that goes in and out, in and out, in and out of the fabric, and it always walks in line. This stitch walks in line, right? So even if he does a curve, he's always in line. Instead, the free running stitch goes to all directions. It goes backward, forward, right, left. Free running and overlapping stitch, it goes to all directions also, but it overlaps the other stitch. When you have many of overlapping stitches, you make layers of stitches. You can make like layers of stitches in your piece, in your fabric, on the fabric, like this one. The measure of the thread that I use, usually I do from my heart to my hand. Here's the piece that I was working. As you can see, the free running and overlap stitches go to all directions and they overlap each other. This piece that I showed you, that I was working on it, that I'm showing you here now, the idea to make it, to use these colors, to make this composition that I'm showing you, came after my observation, after I have observed this flower. Actually, after I have contemplated this flower. And I'm going to talk about contemplation and contemplating nature in the next video. It's a very important concept that I use in my work, when I work. When you work in your piece, I would like you to think about the composition of your image, the image that you are making, like in the space of the cloth that you choose as the base of the stitches of the embroidery. Think about how you're going to interweave the stitches or not, or if you're going to have areas that you're going to make layers of stitches overlapping each other, or there's going to be an area or like a drawing that you're going only to use running stitch, walking in a line. Think about these kind of things. If you have never embroidery stitched before, I recommend you to practice a little bit before starting your masterpiece. If you want to know more about my work, you can check my website.